The case of the prosecutor versus William Samoei Ruto and Joshua Arap Sang.
Mr. Ruto, please rise to take your plea. You have been charged in count 1 with murder constituting a crime against humanity. How do you plead, guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Joshua Arap Sang, in count 6, you have been charged with persecution as a crime against humanity. How do you plead, guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty, Your Honor.
But prosecutor Fatou Bensouda believes otherwise.
The prosecution asserts that the two accused, Mr. William Ruto and Mr. Joshua Arap Sang, are among the most responsible for the crimes of murder, of persecution, and deportation that occurred in the Rift Valley.
Bensouda is confident that her team has gathered enough evidence that will prove beyond reasonable doubt that the 2008 violence in parts of Rift Valley were not random, spontaneous acts of brutality as widely believed, but actually carefully planned and executed.
The prosecution will prove that this campaign of violence was conceived, planned, and implemented by a network of influential Kenyans. They were led by their anointed leader, Mr. William Ruto, a powerful political figure in the Rift Valley.
The common plan did not spring up overnight. It was carefully created over a period of nearly 18 months prior to the elections. The plan was developed and implemented in a series of small and large planning meetings and public rallies.
The prosecution believes there was a clear motive behind the attacks.
Mr. Ruto's ultimate goal was to seize political power for himself and his party through violent means. And this was in the event that he could not do so through the ballot box. The main mouthpiece used by Mr. Ruto to spread his message was his co-accused, Mr. Joshua Arap Sang.
Bensouda, however, reckons that this case she inherited from her predecessor Luis Moreno Ocampo has not been a walk in the park.
This trial is the culmination of a long and difficult investigations. It has been fraught with cooperation challenges and obstacles relating to the security of witnesses. Many victims and witnesses have been too frightened to come forward. Others have given statements, but subsequently sought to withdraw from the process, citing intimidation or fear of harm.
One may then ask precisely how many prosecution witnesses have withstood the said threats and influences to stand by their statements.
The prosecution will present up to 22 victims and witnesses, common Kenyan people, who will describe the attacks on each of these locations.
This is less than half the number of witnesses prosecution had indicated last month that it was going to call to the witness stand. Bensouda had estimated that her team would require 413 hours in total for the examination in chief of some 46 witnesses.
The very fact, Mr. President, that I stand before you at the opening of this trial today, Your Honors, is something of an achievement in itself.
The prosecution expects, although we don't know, as we have not yet been disclosed the defense's witness list, we expect the defense will rely on certain former prosecution witnesses who have now recanted their written statements, statements which they signed and confirmed the truth of, but who now allege that they were induced by members of the prosecution or other as yet unnamed parties to falsely implicate the accused.
It's a concern shared by lawyer Wilfred Nderitu, who represents some 700 victims. Apparently, 90 victims have written a letter declaring their intention to withdraw their participation.
The root cause for these unprecedented withdrawals is yet to be established, and, if unchecked, will threaten the credibility of this trial.
These are serious offenses under the Rome Statute, and they carry hefty sentences upon conviction. The prosecution is investigating. We will get to the bottom of it and ensure that those responsible also face justice.
In your court, I beseech you to adopt anger, that daughter of hope, for it is only fitting and right that you feel angry that crimes against humanity were committed in Kenya in 2007, 2008.
We will try not to be angry. We will keep an open mind to get to the bottom.
Well appreciated, Your Honor.
Thank you.
I talk about tempered outrage.
All rise, vous levez.
This is the first day of a process that will ultimately lead to that crucial decision when the judges will decide whether both Ruto and Sang or one of them is guilty or not guilty. Sylvia Chebet, Citizen Live at 9.